D'Angelo Russell is once again a potential trade asset for the Los Angeles Lakers. Today we're going to talk about some of the recent rumors that have been going around involving him and the Orlando Magic and whether or not any of those rumors and mock trades are true. We're also going to talk about whether or not the Orlando Magic actually have interest and what they would need to give up to potentially get a guy like D'Angelo Russell. Now, we've been talking a lot of mock trades lately, guys. It's the dead part of the NBA offseason. So we're just going to dive in, have a little bit of fun conversation about these potential players. Now, I don't know how many of these guys we would end up actually making a move for if any of these mock trades were to come to fruition or be offered on the table, but it's fun to talk about nonetheless, and there's really not too much during this point in the season. But make sure that you guys stick around for whenever everything heats up in the NBA this upcoming season and join the family here at Magic Digest. Subscribing is the easiest and best way to help us. We're trying to build an Orlando Magic basketball community where we can really focus on the daily news of the Orlando Magic. Now, let's get into this proposed trade that has been talked about as of recent news. So this is proposed by Bleacher Report. It involves 3 teams, and it ends up sending D'Angelo Russell to the Orlando Magic. Now, in the recent news cycle, a lot of people are saying that they have had talks with the Orlando Magic that, haven't really gone too far into, the later stages of negotiations. But hey, the Orlando Magic do kind of have a relative interest in getting Russell. Now, whether or not that's going to be at the beginning of the season or in the middle of the season, that's obviously going to just be left up to time. Time will only tell. But here is the trade that Bleacher Report proposed. They said the Lakers are going to receive Jeremy Grant and Cole Anthony, both obviously, one from the Blazers and Grant and Cole Anthony from the Magic. And they're going to give up D'Lo, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, JHS, and a top 3 protected 2029 first round pick and a 2030 second round pick. Blazers are going to get Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, Jet Howard. Obviously, that is from the Orlando Magic. They get a 25 first from Orlando, which is from Denver, and then the top 3 protected 29 first from LA. They're going to give up Jeremy Grant and a 28 second round pick. I'd say that for the Blazers, that's a pretty good haul for what they are giving up, because I don't know if Jeremy Grant is exactly going to fit their timeline and what they want to do long term, but we'll see. We'll talk about that more later. And then the Magic receive obviously D'Lo, JHS, a 28 second from Portland, that is from Golden State, and a 2030 second from LA. They give up Cole Anthony, Jet Howard, and a 25 first round pick, which is the one from Denver. So I know there was a lot that I mentioned there, kind of a little bit of a convoluted way of looking at things, but just kind of suggesting what each team is getting and what they're giving up. Is kind of an interesting look at it too, another perspective. So is this something that that the Magic would do? I think that kind of comes around to every video that we've made in the last couple weeks. Would the Orlando Magic want to do a deal like this? Well, D'Angelo Russell ended up opting into his $18.7 million player option this season because he wasn't going to go to the free agency market and get that sort of money from a team like Orlando, who had a lot of money to spend. So their interest is already, I think, a little bit further away from D'Angelo Russell. I don't think they got KCP. I don't think that they're really in the market to give up D'Lo, especially since in this mock trade they have to give up Cole Anthony. Now, we've talked about Cole Anthony being a guy who you might have to trade to get like Naz Reid or somebody else further down the line, or he could have some value. I don't think his value would be best suited in a trade for a guy like D'Angelo Russell. Maybe a player that plays a different position or can give us something else that's not kind of what Cole Anthony can already provide us. I think that is really the main issue with this sort of trade, is the involvement of Cole Anthony and also the defensive concerns that D'Angelo Russell has. If you were to acquire him from the Orlando Magic's perspective, you've got a lot going for you as far as the defensive end of things goes. But D'Angelo Russell's not going to be that kind of defender on the perimeter. So can he play next to Jalen Suggs, right? How many times are you going to run him next to KCP? I don't know, because he's not that level of facilitator in a sense. Now, he is averaging 6 assists per game, but LeBron James is really the main facilitator. He's the kind of the central focus for a lot of defenses, and I don't know if D'Angelo Russell is going to be able to really fill any sort of need for the Orlando Magic as it is currently looks right now. Look, KCP is there for the three-point shooting. Jalen Suggs is there for the defense, and he might be the table setter, and Cole Anthony is going to be that spark plug off the bench. Kind of have everything that D'Lo would give us covered, and I don't really see his facilitating being that great. So I'm already very skeptical about whether or not the Magic would do this, but I definitely think it's really important to just look at all sides of trades like this. So we're looking at the Lakers. Would they end up wanting to make a deal like this? Well, I would say that them getting D'Lo off their books and potentially at the trade deadline or whatever it may be, depending on where their season is at, is okay with them. Now they're losing Gabe Vincent. They just got him, and he was very disappointing. But they're losing a bit. But they're getting a guy like Jeremy Grant and Cole Anthony, and I do think that would be very enticing for them. I think Cole Anthony can kind of fit that mold. He doesn't have that ceiling as far as D'Lo has those games where he just takes over, and they're rare here and there, but Cole Anthony doesn't really have the ability to do that all that often, and D'Lo does, so they're kind of missing that, but they're getting a guy who can play in a similar role as D'Angelo Russell is, and I think potentially Cole Anthony coming off the bench has shown to be that spark plug. Like I said, that was his role for the Orlando Magic. Can he elevate himself and do that for the Lakers on like the bigger stage? He didn't really have a great postseason against the Cavs or series against the Cavs. So that remains to be seen whether or not he can truly do that for an extended period of time and in the postseason. But I think that they'd be very intrigued by doing this deal. Now they do lose some defense by giving up Jared Vanderbilt, but they get Jeremy Grant and they're trying to look for some more scoring. So I do see that the Lakers could potentially do something like this. I don't think it's okay for the Magic, and I think for the Blazers side of things, as I mentioned earlier, they're kind of getting younger here, and they're getting that 25 first from Orlando, which is obviously Denver's, and a top 3 protected 29 first from LA. They're getting a lot in this deal. And I definitely think that as far as what they're trying to build, they're okay with kicking the ball down the road a little bit with some of those picks and taking a swing on maybe Denver being in the 20s this upcoming season. So I agree with the Blazers really wanting to do this. I think if we had to rank the teams in this trade that really wanted to do it, I'd say the Magic would be last, Blazers would be first, and the Lakers would be second. But I still think the Lakers might, even with this deal, just want to stay put. And then how likely are they going to give up that 29 first? I don't know. Now, looking back at it from the Magic perspective, just really quick, just wanted to touch on another point of emphasis. JHS obviously would be another player that would enter the fold for the Orlando Magic. They'd be giving up Jet Howard in this deal. Now, I think a lot of Magic fans, and myself included, would probably value Jet Howard based off of how he's played in recent times, Summer League, as more valuable than what we could potentially get from JHS. And I see why some Lakers fans might really be into JHS or why he might have some trade value out there. But I think as far as the fit for Jet Howard in the Orlando Magic, I don't really see them giving him up, especially for trying to get a guy like D'Angelo Russell, who's the main centerpiece or their main get in this deal. I just don't see it personally. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is this something that you would be interested in the Orlando Magic pursuing? And obviously, I know you guys have been talking to me. You don't want to give up Cole Anthony. I don't want to either. If there was a deal that didn't involve Cole Anthony but could get you D'Angelo Russell, would you bother? Now, we're not talking Paolo Banchero. We're not talking about Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, but maybe everybody else would be on the table. Outside of the guys, obviously, you just restructured or extended because they can't be traded just yet. But let me know if that's something that you guys want to do. And Lakers and Blazers fans, if you found your way to this video, tell me why I'm wrong and why your team would either do this trade or not do this trade. But until next time, when I have more Orlando Magic basketball content, we'll see you guys.